Greetings and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about how to build a foundation that will outlast any storm in your life. The first thing you must understand is that foundation is you. It's about the choices that you make and the responsibility that you take for those choices. Because when you build a foundation, the foundation should allow you to shift no matter what happens in your life, when it happens in your life, when those things come up suddenly, you should be able to make that shift at that moment, because it's at that moment of what you tell yourself in that moment that's going to determine whether or not you survive or whether or not you fail. In 20 years, when you look up, you will wonder, how did my life get here? It's because of this choice that you made and the responsibility that you took. You have to understand it does not matter what happens, because it's still going to boil down to a choice. At that moment, you still have a choice to make. What happens is when you fail to make a choice, you give away your power, you give away your authority, and you are no longer in control. But see, when you build this solid foundation for yourself, it'll give you an anchor. It'll give you the support that you need to be able to apply that shift in your life. But it's going to take you to make that change. You have to have it within yourself. You have to determine, you have to purpose within yourself in your life right now. Something must change. It must change. And you must change it. It's all about you. It's not about anybody else or anything else. It all comes down to you. Because one thing about the foundation that you build for yourself, if it does not have the ability to help you shift, no matter where you find yourself at, then you might need to change that foundation. And to be able to change that foundation is a process to that as well, which is what we're going to cover. See, you have to determine the best foundation for you. Your foundation may not be the same as mine, but I know mine works for me. You have to find the one that works for you. It's not my purpose to try to input my foundation on you. You have to determine that for yourself. But if you want the results that I get in my life, I can talk to you about my foundation. But you can just hit me up later on, and I'll give you information to be able to do that. But if the foundation that you have for you is not working, then you need to change it and find what works for you. So what we're going to start with, we're going to start with where you are in your life right now. Especially if you're not getting the results that you want. Even if you are getting the results that you want, if something come along right now and rock your world, would you be able to make that shift? So think of a big green tree, not a big green tree, but a big strong tree with a bunch of leaves and branches that's all green and pretty in the prime of its season. We're going to look at these branches. And these branches is going to represent the people that you hang out with in your life. The way you feel on a daily basis. The very thing that you focus on, what you do with your life on a daily basis, and the role that you are playing in your life right now. But see, because that's what you want right there. Those are going to be the measurable results that you want in your life. Because see, it's not going to be about the houses that you live in or the cars that you drive, how much money you make, be able to go on vacation whenever you want to. Because guess what? Those things are all well and fine and they are nice to have. But those things are not going to bring you happiness. See, that happiness is going to have to come from within. So that no matter what happens, guess what? You can still come to a certain place within yourself. And that foundation will help allow you to be able to do that. Because as human beings, we all have desires. And we are going to meet those desires one way or another, whether it's in a positive way or a negative way. Because guess what? We all want to be significant. We all want to be important. But what we have to understand is you have to first be important to yourself, because you are your most valuable asset. And if anybody tell you anything differently, then you have to question their motives. Everybody want to have love and connection. Everybody want to feel like they belong to something or someone. But first of all, you got to love yourself. And anybody that's tried to tell you negatively about yourself or tell you what you're not worth of anything, that cannot penetrate you. That's one of the things that foundation will do. It'll build your confidence, help you to have good self-esteem. Because guess what? Because you love yourself. Now you done put this bubble around you. Can't nobody penetrate that, because guess what? You know who you are and you know whose you are. And you know how genuine real love is. Everybody want to have security. Everybody wants to be provided for. And everybody needs to have spice in their life, because you need to change things up. Because don't nobody want to be bored. I don't know anybody in life who just wants to be bored. But see, those are the 4 basic needs that every human being is going to meet one way or another. It's kind of like it's your lifeline, because it's life or death for human beings. And see, and then once you can have those needs and you meet those needs at a high level, guess what? Now you have growth. And once you have that growth, now you have the ability to give to others. But one of the main things that we need to understand and realize, as human beings, we all have thoughts. We wake up with thoughts. But guess what? When you have that thought, an emotion is going to follow that thought. And that emotion that you have is important. Because that emotion, depending on how long you are having that emotion, it's going to determine the behavior from that thought and from that emotion. And this is the pattern that you will be developing for yourself. Now, say for instance, you're always angry all the time, and you're always feeding yourself negative talk. Everything is negative. You're going to get negative results, because this is what you're feeding yourself. Because see, one thing about it, with those emotions and those thoughts, guess what? It's going to be derived from your psychology, from your state of mind. It's going to be the words that you are telling yourself, that you are speaking to yourself and others. Because guess what? Words have meaning. And those words will determine what you will and what you won't do. It determines how you feel. So the language that you use is very important. Then your physiology. You know, your physiology can change your whole perception about life. Guess what? Be tired or be angry, and guess what? Go take a jog or go take a walk. By the time you get through, guess what? You will have a different perspective. Because if you're angry, you're going to be in a cool down. And if you're tired, you're going to get a burst of energy. Because I have done it and tried it. Got to work real tired. Went to the track and walked, and I felt great when I got through with that walking. By the time I got home, I had new energy. It's all about what you're eating, what kind of medication that you're taking, because all that affects your physiology. And then your focus and your beliefs. Because see, what you focus on is what you're going to spend most of your energy on. And your beliefs is what you feel to be true, because that's what you're going to focus on. That's what you're going to focus on the most, is what you feel is most important, is what you're going to focus on. Now, it's going to be a problem with what you are focusing on. The things that you are doing has nothing to do with your focus. That's going to be a whole nother issue. But see, but as you work on it, you build that foundation, you would know that process that you need for you to be successful in every area of your life. Because see, that psychology, that state of mind is so important. Because see, now we're going to get into that internal psychology. Because guess what? That internal psychology is going to come from that foundation, which is going to be the basis. This is going to be the stock that you are made of. This is going to be the very essence of you. The first thing that we're going to talk about is self-examination, because guess what? You need to diagnose yourself. Because there were some things that you need to learn and understand about yourself. Because guess what? This is your life. And it has got to be important to you. Because one thing when you come in with the diagnosis, guess what? You're going to be looking at the needs that you are not meeting. The needs that you are meeting. Then you got to look at your psychology. Because guess what? Your psychology is going to determine your emotions and your behavior. And that's going to determine how you are meeting those needs. That's why you need to examine yourself. That's why it is so important for you to do that. Then you need to look at, well, also to with diagnosis, you got to understand, you got to know what it is that's driving you. Whether it's one thing or two things or whatever the case may be, you need to look at what's driving you. And you need to look at how you are meeting that need and what you need to do more of for the need that you are not meeting to meet that need at a higher level. In order to do that, you're going to have to know what drives you. Because I know a lot of people say they don't know what it is that they want. You're going to have to do some real serious diagnosis as concerning what it is that you want and why you want it. Because if you don't know what it is that you want, but see, that why got to be meaningful to you. Because can't nobody tell you what it is that you want. That's going to have to come from you. So you're really going to have to do some searching. You're really going to have to do some work on yourself. And you can't look at the external circumstances, because what it is that you want, that's going to be your purpose. And that's what you're going to have to determine. You got to, when you say what it is that you want, you got that why has got to be so strong. Because no matter what happens in life, no matter what goes on, you still have got to achieve this. I mean, you have to go at it with such a high veracity to achieve it, because nothing is going to stand in your way. Because it's going to be something that you want in life. And you have to determine what that is. Because you're going to have to know what it is that drives you. And if you don't know what it is that you want, then it means you're not being driven by anything. You just like the wind being tossed to and fro. And those are the results that you are getting in your life right now. So then when it comes down, you're going to have to condition yourself. That's where you are getting rid of those old habits that's not serving you well. And depending on how long you may be doing these old habits, you know they're not serving you. And you know they need to change. But what happens a lot of times in life that you're not ready to give that up. But you have to really just stop and look at what is it bringing you, especially if you've been in the same space for years or even months. These are the old habits that you need to change. And when you create new habits, it's going to have to look at your old habit and see what you're doing. Just look at, now, what is it that I could do differently to make that into a positive? And that's what your new habit needs to become. Now, if you want to keep getting the same result that you're getting today, you keep doing the same old thing. But if you want to get different results, because guess what? If you do something for 30 days, you will change a habit. They say it takes about 30 days to change a habit. And that's what we're trying to do. Create new habits. Because guess what? Some people can give themselves affirmations to do daily. It just all depends on you. So then once you develop that new psychology, that new state of mind, and this is what you are practicing on, you will get that result. But it's going to take action on your part. So that's, you know, to learn how to diagnose yourself, condition yourself, and you're going to have, the third is going to be, you're going to have to learn how to leverage. You're going to have to learn how to link that massive pain, which is going to be the old way, and link it to massive pleasure, which is going to be the new way. Because you got to think of it in this terms right here. You keep on doing the same thing that you're doing. This thing that you visualize which is that's a part of conditioning. If I didn't mention it, you can visualize what it is that you want, where you want to be at.